Hi and welcome to Business Today TV show episode number 7. Wow, 7 shows in and we are cracking on. We are not letting anything stop us put together the business show for you. We have an exciting show for you this time. We've got how to deal with it when you're not feeling motivated. Might be just a topic for today. How do you give your staff confidence? Another opportune topic. We're talking marketing, we're talking Facebook and the importance of your Facebook story. This is a really interesting one with Ivor Kearney. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be a great show. And don't forget to leave your comments, ask your questions, and even say hi.
Welcome to today's show. Like Michael said, nothing's going to stop us to bring you a message, and especially with the pandemic going on, people are in lockdown, being isolated at home, you have time to listen, and we are bringing you messages from different perspectives of business. And today we're going to speak to Helia Singh and just talk about when you feel unmotivated. It's very easy for us to feel unmotivated at the moment because all the news that we get is negative. Something that works for me at this stage is every morning we exercise. One morning we will go running, we will go for a long walk while we still can, or we do yoga and stretching. By doing that, I just get new ideas because it takes me away from all the negative press all the time. So Helia is talking about being unmotivated. Enjoy this interview.
Another question that I usually get asked is, have I ever feel unmotivated? And what do I do to, again, bring back the inspiration and feel motivated to do my work? Reality is, obviously, I'm a human, so we all get demotivated. There always something happens, is either the laws, the change of, whatever it happens at home or at work, and things that are outside our control, things happens and makes us feel, why am I doing this? And there is no point. And if you have looked at our response to negative feedback, sometimes actually negative feedback for some people can bring that demotivation feeling for them. But one thing that I learned is how to bring back myself that motivation and the inspiration is not just by reading the inspirational quote, which is all great and nice, because inspiration is something that has to happen inside me, that really make me to do something. And for me, what it works is, obviously over the years, I had the privilege of dealing with many, many clients, and many, which most of them are happy clients. And every feedback that I receive, every happy feedback, email, anything, I just take a copy of that and even I take a picture, a snapshot of that and put it in a folder. I've got a very specific folder called My Inspiration. And every time I feel happy about a client or something happens, I go through that. I've got the name of client, the date, and what they wrote. And that gives me that reason of keep going and feeling motivation that why I'm here, why I'm doing this. Because as you know me so far, it's not about money, so that motivates me to do what I'm doing. It's about the response that I'm getting, about that how much I'm affecting other people's life. And that definitely helps me to keep going. So you find what works for you.
What a great interview with Helia Singh. She is so generous with her time and she is one of Perth's leading wealth coaches. Look, if you're looking and you're struggling, you're looking to improve your finances, why not reach out and talk to Helia? One of the things that I've done when you're not feeling motivated, I know Gerard talks about going on exercise and doing things like that. I like to write down my resources on what I've managed to achieve so far. And I think this is what the gratitude coaches teach you. But once I've got that, I kind of say, what in there have I done to deserve it? And start saying, what actions have I gone to get there? But my third question I like to write in my book, so what's next? What have I built for myself and where to next? And I try to put all the positives in there as well and build a strategy from there. One of the strategies I'm always looking at is how to improve marketing. And our clients at Worthington Stoop, and myself and Gerard, this is one of the things we help them with. Now, it's easy to talk about marketing when you're doing quite well, But I think it's even more important to listen to people who've done marketing, who've done it consistently for a very long time. Our next guest, yes, Mr. Andrew Ford from Ford & Doonan, has been doing marketing through all sorts of economies for 35 years. So they've been marketing through everything. So hey, I thought, what a great time for Andrew to share his marketing message with us. Well, welcome back, and we're here with Andrew Ford, Ford & Doonan air conditioning fame. Yourself and Kyle, 35 years building the company. And amazing, you're continuing to grow it.
We are, yeah. I've always had the philosophy, if you're not growing, you're going, which is easier said than done at some time, especially when the market takes a bit of a dip or something. But that's always been our philosophy, is we've got to keep growing, because the market's growing, and unless the company's growing, of course, you're losing market share to the opposition.
It's interesting, because that's one reason I wanted to talk to you this week. Particularly, you've managed to grow it consistently over 35 years, starting from, I think, $500 in the bank account to, we won't ask you how much you've got now, my friend. But there's been a progression. But marketing seems to be the thing you guys have managed to tap into and do very, very well. What has been your secret?
It's been one of our fortes, I must admit to that. I don't know, it comes quite naturally to me, and I must be honest, I'm the director of marketing, always been heavily involved with that part of the business. We've always just again tried to be creative, so if everyone's going down path A, we'll go down path B. Without being reckless about it, but just try to be something different to the market and then just deliver a different message. And of course, today's world it's all about social media marketing, which is so difficult for many people, including us. Are you doing it correctly? Is it money well spent? And the other challenge right now in these modern days is that the advertising budget that you've got has to be split across so many different spaces,
I know.
And it gets thinned out and makes less impact on all of them.
One thing I've noticed in a few of your ads, you're not frightened to use humour either. You've got a bit of humour going on in some of your adverts.
Yeah, albeit subtle at times, but I think life can be too serious, can't it? So that's one of our philosophies we spoke of the other day was on values of the company, and one of them is have fun. So that I guess extends into our marketing.
So for like a company that is running, but it may be looking for that growth, what are some of the marketing strategies you've used or philosophies you've used that can help them just maybe get to something they haven't thought of?
Yeah, everything's been thought of. I think going back onto that question, one back from that would be, have they even got that factored into their business plan for growth? Like a lot of people go, I've got excess work, I can't keep up with it, we're going to grow. But that can quickly peter out, and then suddenly you've got the overheads but not the extra business. So I think a growth plan must include a marketing plan and an acceleration of existing marketing, even if not all of it is implemented, but it should at least be planned, that if it doesn't grow as fast as you'd hoped with the initial methods, you've got plan B to implement, and it's half planned out. It's not like, oh gee, we've got to panic and start doing it now. So it's very difficult. Social media, Gary Vee, who I'm sort of a fan of, his philosophy, most people know of Gary Vee, he works with the philosophy jab, jab, punch. So a lot of people just put an ad up on Facebook or Instagram and expect a result straight away, like the old days of putting an ad in the newspaper. You get phone calls straight away. That was great, or it wasn't great. It just doesn't work like that. It can be quite disheartening, social media advertising like that, because you put a lot of effort in and it doesn't always bear fruit straight away. But long term, I think it does, and it does take a long time to get into people's minds.
Yes, and you're very active on social media, and apart from shows like what you do with us here, you're very generous in your time in helping other people. Is this the new era of marketing, to be seen that
I think
you're the trusted person?
Definitely, yeah, and that was a deliberate strategy to become the authority in air conditioning in WA, and that involves doing things for nothing and helping people. And invariably, like I always say, you always get back more than what you give if you give that willingly and with no cost.
Yes.
Comes around, goes around. So I'm a big believer in that philosophy. I think you putting yourself out there as being the industry authority in whatever industry the people, listeners are in, you can still, in a small way, become an authority in that.
Thank you, Andrew. I always enjoy listening to Andrew, and he's always so generous with his knowledge. Marketing is so important, and especially in the times we're in now, because circumstances change all the time, and we have to be fluent in looking at our marketing plan and changing it for what's coming. The next question I think is also very relevant to our guest, where we ask them a question, we don't prepare them, and we ask them a question that they have to answer within 60 seconds. The question this week is, what do you do when things go wrong?
I've made a mistake in trusting people that they will look after my best interests all the time. The mistake was that I truly believed that at the time, and the person to whom I entrusted did not look after my best interests. It was an expensive lesson, it was a painful lesson, and now I seek to understand much more and take responsibility much more for what I do.
Well, it depends on how long you've got. I've got many mistakes, and we all have done. But I think the top ones, I can say that one was that I didn't love myself enough. I didn't put me as number one. That was one of my biggest mistakes. And the second mistake is trying to do everything by myself. Realizing that, yes, I can trust others and have a team and, delegate work to others and, just basically bounce back ideas with good friends, good colleagues, good mentor and coach. That's definitely the way to do it. But those two are my top biggest mistakes.
What mistakes can you make? Listening to a lot of other people's advice. People are trying to sell me stuff. There is so many people out there that have got the magic bullet, and unfortunately there is no sort of thing as a magic bullet. It's called hard work. Okay, so hard work is the only thing that really can get you over the line. Trying to listen to other people's opinions, yeah, you can take it on board, but don't believe everything you hear. Sort of value it for yourself and then make a reasonable judgment on it.
Well, look, the mistake what I've made, especially when starting the business, is you launch into the business rather than devoting enough time to work on the business, because you are the main face of the business and you are working to give advice and all. But as you go along, you realize that you need to work on the business rather than in the business, and a lot of small businesses make that mistake. I realize that as well, and I'm working now to work more on the business rather than in the business.
Well, where do I start? I mean, mistakes. A mistake is only a mistake if you don't learn from it. So, yeah, I've made mistakes, but I've learned from every one of them.
Well, what a time to be asking that question. What would you do when things go wrong? I thought the answers were extremely interesting, very consistent though in kind of their approach to dealing with things, which is even more interesting. And I always believe that success leaves clues. And talking about these times when things are going wrong, rapid changes are happening, I guess for those companies, our businesses that employ staff, we're kind of turning our attention to them as well and helping them with their confidence. So we caught up with Mr. Peter McLernan. He's been in business for many, many years, been seeing a lot of things, been through the ups and downs, and all through that, obviously having to maintain staff. So we went out and had a chat to Peter about how he handles and helps improve staff confidence. Well, Peter McLernan, business base, one thing that happens when change goes on, whether it's a coronavirus or whatever, staff confidence and staff morale. Now, you're running 10, 11 people, you know, you've been in business for a long time. What are some of your strategies that you're helping your staff with to maintain that morale and confidence within them?
Yeah. I think just good, strong management, you know, confidence from top down basically, keeping people informed. You know, we have open discussions, so I don't see that any of the staff are particularly worried at the moment, you know. It's pretty much, from our point of view, business as usual with those small adjustments I've talked about, you know. And we're really looking to, you know, pass this to the future. So taking actions now that'll put us in good stead when we come out the other side, you know, and pay back, you know, anything we might have lost during this period. You know.
Is this what you share with staff? You share the strategies and the long-term vision so they can see that, you're already planning, you're being proactive, and do you involve them? Do you get any of their ideas?
Yeah, not probably as much as I might, certain members of staff need to be fully aware of everything that's happening within the business, and then they pass on information to other staff members. You know, not everyone handles a crisis well, so you know, if you give too much information, it can go the wrong way. That's, look, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but you know, it's better sometimes to withhold some information that you know may not even be accurate, may not even prove accurate in the future. So you're guessing at things. So you've got to make your own guesses, make your own calculations. My priority is to protect the business and therefore protect the jobs of everybody in the business. So in a lot of ways, you've got to take the responsibility on yourself, and you've got to kind of, you know, weather the ups and downs and keep a steady ship, you know, through all storms, and just get everybody to do their job to keep the ship afloat during the storm, you know, and come out the other side together.
I think that's probably impressive, not just from staff, but from a customer perspective, is you come here every day. I mean, you're the boss, you own it. You probably don't need to come to work every day, but you're up front, you're here before anyone else. I know that for a fact. And do you think that really helps not only the staff confidence but customer confidence? Hey, the leader of the ship is here every day and making sure things are going to go?
Well, I have to say that I believe very firmly in the old saying, you work on the business, not in the business. So I'm not involved in the day-to-day, you know, making sales or that type of thing. I'm involved in looking at the cash flows, thinking about what might happen in the next month or so, you know, making decisions that change things, you know, not dramatically, but enough change to make sure that we're going to be safe through that period. You know, little adjustments here and there. So I'm working on the business, not in the business, you know. That also helps when it comes to things like financing, cash flows, expansion, you know, all those areas, and delegating to people. So I give people a job. Generally, what I try and do is we're in the business of educating or helping everybody to learn, you know, within the business as well as everywhere else. But so I give people responsibilities within the business and get them to understand what their responsibility is within the business, and then I let them get on with it. I observe what's happening. And if I see things are wrong, then I'll go back and talk to that person about, you know, what's wrong in that area. But otherwise, I'll leave them to get on with the job, you know.
Do you when you first started in that style, it's probably quite a while ago now, but you mentor other business owners as well, which is really good that you do. Do you find they find that difficult, delegating and then letting someone get it and just observing like the style?
Well, I have to tell you that, you know, I delegate freely, and I like to have layers so that, you know, someone's coming up behind someone else all the time. Now, some people don't like that because they feel threatened, you know, by having someone that is an understudy. But it's very important, even within a small business, that you have that kind of layer, you know, so that someone always has a backup. If they get sick or something goes wrong, someone else can step into their shoes, even temporarily, you know. But I kind of make the analogy of the spider in the web, you know, so I've got this, I can feel and know everything that's going on in this business, I tell you, you know. People are very surprised, staff members, when I say something that they didn't think I would have any idea, you know, that happened. So that's just to, you know, you have to be fully aware of what's happening within your business, you know, in all areas of the business, you know. You have to be on the ball, you know, watching things, but not interfering unless you have to. So you step back, you feel what's happening, you get a feeling for what's happening, and then you only take action where it's necessary. But you have to know when it's going to be necessary to take some action. You know.
Thank you, Peter. I think we will all agree that it's so important to look after our staff in this pandemic. They looked after us, and we depended on our staff members to help grow our business. And I think that's also important now to communicate with your staff when we can't keep on paying them and see how we can help them with the government grants that is out there at the moment. Next, we're going to speak to Alex, and she's going to talk about emotional intelligence, which I think is very closely linked to what Peter said as well. Let's see what Alex say about emotional intelligence.
Well, I'm joined with Alex from The Mentoring Effect, and a very interesting topic, emotional intelligence. And I really love your perspective and your take on this, Alex.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, actually, I love this topic because it was a lot of things to do with me as well as a leader, because I was going through trauma and a lot of different things. And it's really good to know and be aware about these things that actually exist. And we're using a really cool model. It's basically, we're starting with the thoughts. We exercise usually with the team members or with our clients. And just take first step and think about your morning wake up thoughts.
Oh.
And yeah, it's
So it starts when you get up.
Yes, and it's you open your eyes and you think about something, and that's how you're setting up yourself for the day. But we are usually not aware of the thoughts because we have 70,000 thoughts during the day. And based on that thoughts, what we are not aware, we're making 25,000 decisions, small things, small choices, like what color I'm wearing today, or what I'm going to take, what I'm going to eat or drink. It's all these small things. They're based on that first waking up thoughts and thoughts during the day. That's why
I hear a lot of, especially multi-millionaires and people who are highly successful, they say when they get up, they have affirmations that they'll say. Yeah. Is this what they're doing? They're aligning, they're becoming present in the moment and focusing on what they want to do?
Yeah, look, it works for some people. I agree with it. I think it's great. I'm more different thinker probably. I just need to think about straight away about my yoga or meditation. I just need to do something and focus on something else and think about how actually amazing day we will have, because it's probably more to be really thankful and grateful. Wow. That's probably first thing that works for me. But from that, I will just go straight away to that, because I really like that, and it's very important, because we have things happening like now that the viruses and everything is going on, and it's crazy.
I know.
And we're reacting, and I think that's the bad things, because we shouldn't react. We should just calm down and really think, because that event is still same that happened probably before, and we had diseases, we have things that are happening in the companies. We're going through a lot of crises, last 100 years, and we should always think about more positive things than negative, and they're basically our filters, and our filters is language, how we talk to each other and to ourselves, and it can be attitude, beliefs that we are taking from the childhood. It's our values. It's a lot of things that are influencing our thought. That means.
Is this why when you talk leadership, you're really particular about how leaders use language when they talk to staff and when they're even doing the self-talk?
Yes, self-talk. I was basically starting with self-talk, because that's our major. That is our major filter, I would say. How we work, how our thoughts are changing basically to that reaction, and based on that reaction we're making decisions, and we have feelings. But basically feelings are not natural, we are making them, and they're coming from the thought. That's very important.
It's interesting, I was watching a Tony Robbins thing one time, and he was saying how just changing your physiology, changing how you speak to yourself will change your emotional state. And if you don't like the emotional state you are in, say different words and change a bit differently, and everything changes.
Yeah, that's actually very amazing, because that was the first thing that helped me when I was really down, and I was like, I think someone told me just try to just walk straight and like you felt before, very confident and you were successful. Just think about that day, and I was like, okay, I will try it. It can't hurt me. And I was trying these small things, and I just took advice from everyone, and it was amazing. Yeah. It is changing. If you're doing that for 4 or 5 minutes, and you really focus, it's amazing how that small thing can trigger.
I go walking with Gerard, and we go walking, and he walks at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'm almost running to keep up with him. But you're right. It does change your physiology. It changes your whole emotional state.
Yeah.
If someone is they get up and they feel down and they go to work and it's getting a bit drudgery, what is a couple of pieces of advice you would share with them that they could do to change their day?
Be aware of your thought. That means what is actually putting you down. Think about what is happening in your brain, and probably think if it's judgment and comparison, because that's the first thing that is putting us down. That means if you compare yourself to someone who is better, or you judge someone, and these all things are making us a little bit feel drained and down. Yes. That means just to really focus on yourself and focus what is good on you, what you know how to do, what is your skill, what you like about yourself, and what you can do better today. I think that's very important.
So it's focusing on your thoughts, not only just about yourself, but I did pick up one thing you said there, also about what you think about other people and the language you use around them. Very, very important to control your day.
Yes, it's very important.
Alex, the Mentor Effect, thank you very much for popping into the studio once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
What a great segment from Alex. I really do appreciate her coming in and sharing her knowledge on that. I wonder how many of us can actually use emotional intelligence, or have you used the emotional intelligence in your business, maybe with your staff, maybe with your customers, maybe with your suppliers? Why don't you let us know in the comments, and so we can all learn and help grow our businesses that way. Now, talking about learning and growing our businesses and emotional intelligence, I think for me emotional intelligence is about connection. And our next guest, Ivor Kearney from Digiflex Solutions, he shows us how to make those emotional connections with Facebook. Now, a few people say, well, I wonder how he's doing that. Well, this time Ivor's going to take us inside constructing your Facebook story. I really hadn't paid much attention to this until I'd actually sat down with Ivor and discussed this. I think you're going to get a lot out of this. Ivor Kearney from Digiflex Solutions talking about your Facebook story.
Help you. Now, one of the things that came through a messenger was, okay, you talked about certain elements, the image, the about us, the posting, how it works, funnels. The other thing was the story. Now, the story within the back end of Facebook, where the link is on the left-hand side, 2/3 down. Within there, now, it's different than the About Us section. The story needs to be why you have went on this journey. Now, if you're an accountant, there's probably no point of saying, I just thought accountancy was cool and they make lots of money and this is great. You should probably say, well, potentially I got introduced to industry back X, Y, or I worked in an accountancy firm as a trainee or something back in the day, got an opportunity, thought it'd be great to help people, I'm very interested in finance and these are the reasons and this is what I do. Try and give them a backstory of who you are, because if people feel that you've just popped out of the blue with a new certificate on your wall, they're probably not going to do business with you, right? They need to understand that you've been in it for a while. There's a reason why you do what you do, and you love what you do, because people preach about do what you love. Do a lot of people do that? Probably not. I think the stats run about 60 to 70% of people actually don't like the job. So if you don't really like the industry you're in, but you're just sort of stuck there because it's what you've done out of college, that will come through in your story if you don't write it properly. So, you know, there's different ways to look at it. Certain people that I deal with will spell out the fact that their mum and their dad was in the same industry. So they were influenced from a young age and they enjoyed it. They joined their mother or their father's practice or their business to help them, and then they led on to doing it themselves, and they've been at it for X amount of years, and now the parents work for them as a bit of a joke. One of my very close friends at home is a lawyer. He was a joiner, carpenter, but his parents are both lawyers. And he just couldn't get away from the legal influence that they had because he enjoyed it, because he grew up, you know, around the kitchen table talking about it. So in his story, that's what he says. He goes, yes, I have one of the largest firms in Northern Ireland, but I'm a joiner. And I went back to night school on my own time, on my own money, and became a lawyer. Now I have purchased a firm from my family. Now they work for me. And he has grown this from 1 to 4 different businesses within our area. That's a story you want to read. So then when you go in to meet this person, and back to the other episodes where you can see their face, you know all about them, you're basically shaking hands with somebody you think you know for 5 years. That's the first thing you're going to pop up. You're going to go, oh, I've seen your story, that's quite funny. How did you do that? Or how did you get to this point? Where if you go in and say, I've had 4 degrees, they're all great, they're massive, they're on the wall behind me. If you want to see them someday, let me know and I'll send you a photograph. It's not going to happen, right? But if you've got a backstory there of a journey, people will remember that. I haven't seen that guy in years, but I remember that. So play around with it, maybe open a Word doc, write it up, change it up a bit, maybe get your significant other to check it out and put some stuff in there. And don't be afraid to express yourself. It's okay to be normal. Chat soon. I look forward to chatting next time. Have a good week.
My question to you is do you have a story that you can tell on Facebook? And if not, this is an ideal opportunity to sit down and write your story. I think you will agree with me as well, is that sometimes you get an idea, you write it down on paper, and then you start working on it. And it might take 2 or 3 days until you have the story that you say, this is the one I would like to tell. Take the time and do this. I would like to thank again all our guests for sharing their knowledge, taking time out for us to come and do the interviews. We really appreciate it, and we hope that you will share this message as well. There might be somebody that you know that want to start a business or in business, and they might just find a little gold nugget that might help them to get to their first million. We're going to end our show with our golf tip of the day. Here's Peter Hopkins.
Welcome to another golf tip, brought to you by Top Tracer, your personal golf coach, helping you hit it straight down the middle. Welcome to this week's lesson, brought to you by Top Tracer. This week we're going to talk about the direction and how we can control how we hit the ball left and right. The main cause and effect of the golf ball going left and right is the club face. We tend to try and worry too much about it with our swing, but really all it is controlling that club face. And that's how we use the technology on the Top Tracer, which gives us that positive feedback. It's said that the breakfast of champions is feedback. So we're looking for the feedback on how we can get the ball to go high, low, left and right. So we'll be able to hit a few shots now, and when I hit these shots you'll be able to see on Top Tracer the effect of the club face being opened and closed and shut, de-lofting, increasing the loft on how it changes the ball flight. When we're hitting the ball, if the club face is open, the ball's going to go left to right. So when I hit this with an open club face, the ball goes left and right. So that one starts off down to the left and then travels around to the right. Conversely of that, if I set up with the club face closed, the ball's probably going to start down the middle and then turn off to the left, which we commonly call a draw or a hook. And you can see how that goes off to the left. The secret then to hitting it straight down the middle is having the club face square at impact, not de-lofting it, not increasing the loft, just having it square there at impact so that the ball goes straight down the middle. Well, I hope you enjoyed that tip, and I look forward to seeing you on Top Tracer on the range here at Whaleback Golf Course in the near future.